Good morning, I'm Jasmine Anderson. They risk their lives to get to our country. Now, many of the migrants are struggling to support themselves because they don't have papers allowing them to work legally. Ken Bufa looks at how some are managing to survive in part 3 of our series, The Migrant Struggle.
Yo dejé a mi esposa, a mis hijos, a mis hermanos.
Victor Pacheco is from Ecuador. He left his world behind to come to the United States to provide for his loved ones. But without proper working documents, his days now begin at the crack of dawn, waiting on the streets of Farmingville.
Voy a Freimar, pegar chiraje, pegar chingos, lo que venga aquí, todo lo que venga.
And he is not alone. Countless other migrants who have left their countries due to fear of violence and economic uncertainty find themselves looking for a daily wage. Even huddling in the cold, hoping for another payday.
Si algunos me dicen, oye, vamos a lavar platos, yo me voy a lavar los platos, pero con tal que haya dinero, ¿no?
In Manhattan, waiting for working papers is also not an option. Luis Medina has become a moped handyman for dozens of migrants finding work through food delivery apps.
Para estar haciendo cosas malas, mejor estar haciendo esto.
The days are not short, with some lasting 10 to 12 hours for nearly $100 a day, all while fearing something could go wrong.
Sin moto no hay nada, sin moto no hay comida, sin moto no hay nada, porque ¿cómo va a mantener uno a la familia?
While others ride, Maria Baez shuffles along New York City train platforms selling candy to strap hangers while taking care of her 1.5-year-old son.
Más porque estoy con mi bebé, me hace difícil.
Hay momentos que son buenos y hay momentos que son difíciles.
These migrants say, in this moment, life in the States is not what they expected. But waiting to work is just not an option, especially when they feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders.
Cualquier trabajo, para la comida, para la renta, poco a poco.
Ken Bufa, Newsday TV.
Read more about the migrant struggle on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Only a Newsday, a surge in the number of undocumented immigrants on Long Island. Nassau and Suffolk were home to nearly 112,000 undocumented immigrants living in the U.S. in 2022. That was up 20% from the year earlier, according to a new analysis of census data. A Seaford man is facing a judge today after a van fire led to a big weapons bust. Police say the fire started in the driveway Saturday night on Cedar Street and spread to the house. After the flames were put out, police found a large amount of ammunition and assorted firearms in the home. The homeowner, Charles Mursa, was arrested and is due in court today. A new affordable housing complex is coming to Inwood. The 48-unit apartment building on Bayview Avenue will be built on the site of a former church and 6 neighboring lots. There are income requirements, and rent will range between $1,700 to about $3,300 a month. Construction starts this month. Only in Newsday, Brookhaven's plan to lower residents' natural gas bills has some folks fuming. The energy program was supposed to save homeowners up to $100 annually. But 9 months in, participants are paying more than customers of National Grid. The program offers a fixed rate, with the average customer paying $139 a month. National Grid's rates fluctuated, and customers paid an average of $107 a month. Long Islanders kicking off the Lunar New Year last night with a dazzling display of dancing and music. People of all ages gathered at Great Neck North High School to celebrate the Year of the Dragon. Some attendees wore costumes, and there were dozens of performances. Lunar New Year marks the beginning of spring. The 2026 World Cup is coming to MetLife Stadium. The New Jersey Sports Complex will host the final game of the 39-day soccer tournament. The games will be played in 3 countries, the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. The tournament kicks off on June 11th. Checking out your hyper-local forecast, sunny today, highs in the low to mid-40s. Tonight, lows in the 20s. Tomorrow morning, just more sunshine with highs in the 30s. A look at your 7-day forecast coming up.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Home Tax Saver, PTRC Incorporated.
Brentwood High School is celebrating some stellar students. 4 finalists in a national STEM competition are in the same classroom. Steve Langford has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Fully half of all the students in New York State selected as finalists in a competition called the National STEM Challenge are sitting together here in this science classroom at Brentwood High School.
Our finalists, if selected, they have an all-expense-paid trip to Washington, D.C. to present their work there as champions of the STEM Challenge.
Of the 8 students across New York State to make it this far in the competition, 4 are from Brentwood High School alone.
I wanted to develop a solution for the excess nitrate. I wanted to stop it before it made its way into our waterways.
Stephanie Pisano is 18 years old. Her fellow finalists here are 17. All are wise beyond their years.
The current digitizers in the NSLS2 are discontinued. So my project was to code, evaluate, and implement a new digitizer for the NSLS2.
Their mission, to create a STEM project that tackles a real-world challenge.
My project basically assesses the impact of nitrogen pollution from things like septic leaching and their impact on how Zoosphere Marina is able to cycle its nutrients.
These students, keen to present their projects not only to competition leaders, but to the wide world beyond.
So I decided to expose these fruit flies, the model organism, to several concentrations of the herbicide glyphosate to see if it'll have any negative impacts, to see if the herbicide may have been the cause of the decline.
They find out February 12th that they move on to become champions in this National STEM Challenge. Steve Langford for Newsday TV.
Wow, incredible work and good luck to all of the finalists. Read more about the STEM finalists on Newsday.com. Just click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. The MTA's congestion pricing plan could make your commute longer or more crowded. Alfonso Castillo has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
The MTA has been selling congestion pricing on its potential to reduce traffic. So how is it that your drive from Long Island to Manhattan might actually get a little longer?
If you're paying to get into the city anyway, there's a thought that some folks will no longer use the Queensboro Bridge and just come over to the more convenient Midtown Tunnel, but it might be a little less convenient if you get a lot more cars using the tunnel.
But even if you do spend a couple extra minutes at the tunnel, the MTA says you'll more than make up for it once you get into Manhattan.
If there are 17 to 20% less traffic in Manhattan, for those people who do have to drive, they're going to have less traffic to deal with once they get to Manhattan. Probably best not to debate the Queens Midtown Tunnel, but less traffic in general will make for faster rides in the places where they're getting the most traffic.
Some drivers aren't buying that congestion pricing will make all that big a difference in Manhattan's gridlocked streets, especially for what you'll pay in new tolls, $15.
New York is New York. It's crowded. It's congested. That's what New York is. So it's just money that's being taken out of people's pockets.
Now, even if you don't drive into the city, there's a chance you're going to be affected by congestion pricing anyway, because some amount of drivers are expected to leave their cars at home and take the train instead. That could mean an increase of Long Island Railroad ridership by as much as 2%. That's an extra 4,000 plus people on the train every day.
Port Washington branch commuter Tim Farrell isn't too worried about there being fewer seats.
2%, it's not going to affect me that much, but I'm definitely against congestion pricing.
Why is that?
Because I think basically it's a ripoff. I think it's just something to keep people from driving.
Brooklyn resident Gene Myers said Long Islanders should welcome the benefits of congestion pricing, including cleaner air and clearer roadways.
I think that anyone who's been on the LIE should try getting on the train. They may find that it will improve their life.
For Newsday TV, I'm Alfonso Castillo.
Read more about congestion pricing and the impact on Long Island commuters on Newsday.com. Just click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
It makes a difference when people see their faces and their experiences reflected in our newspaper. I think it makes them feel seen in some way.
Newsday, covering Long Island like no one else can.
I'm Jasmine Anderson. Thank you so much for watching. We'll leave you with a look at your hyperlocal 7-day forecast.